Hey guys, welcome back to Skiff Talk, episode 6. We're still here in beautiful Wilmington, North Carolina. We are here with Captain Cam, BlackBird Guide Service. Cam, good to see you, man.
Good to see you as well.
We have his absolutely awesome Maverick HPX-S, and Cam's gonna go through and give you the rundown on it.
Yeah, this is my third polling skiff so far. It's definitely my favorite one I've had to date for a lot of reasons. But we'll work from the bow back to the stern. I have a iPilot trolling motor, which I use a lot for when I'm bait fishing and when I'm trout fishing. This is not an invention of myself. The previous owner of this boat, who is an old timer Everglades fishing guide, came up with this. And I don't know if this has been done super commonly, but essentially it's a tow rail. So a tow rail is meant to keep fly line on the boat. But then also he drilled holes in this to have these fly fishing spikes come through. So it's kind of ultimate protection from your fly line getting blown off the boat on windy days. It eliminates really my need for needing a fly fishing basket, which is great because those take up a ton of space. This is the casting platform, which, interesting story on this one, he actually bolted this to this front hatch. And the reason being is he used to tarpon fish out of this boat a lot. And he has the boat came with it, but it has a sissy bar up here, or a lean post. And when you're in the ocean and the boat's going up and down and someone's leaning on that post, it puts a lot of pressure on this front hatch. And over time, that front hatch started to buckle. And so what he did was he got the front hatch fixed, and he bolted it through and had his handyman adhere this kind of reinforced fiberglass patch to it.
That's a great idea.
So now it doesn't flex at all.
Yeah.
Which is great for when you're in the ocean and you're using the lean post.
And it being bolted is one less thing to worry about moving around.
Yeah, and it just, the boat actually came with another hatch. So if I ever wanted to move this casting platform, I would just put the new hatch on.
Oh, that's super convenient.
Move the casting platform up.
Is your trolling motor a 24 or is it 12?
It's 24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 24. We have a ton of current around here. Our average tide swing is generally 4 to 4.5 feet. So water's moving in and out pretty quick. I'm sure you guys have something similar.
Yeah, very river-esque.
Yeah, when you're fishing rivers, it's really nice to have that power in a trolling motor, just because you can run through batteries pretty quickly.
So in your front compartment, not to jump ahead of you, you can access your fuel tank and all that.
You can.
In your front compartment.
Yeah, and I'll open this again. What I really like about this compartment, as well as all of the compartments on this boat, is one, they have extremely deep gutters. So if and when you do take a wave over the bow, this does a really good job keeping water out.
Yeah.
And the second part that I really like about these hatches is they have these oversized drains.
Oh yeah.
So my previous skiffs, those drains used to be teeny, and we're sitting under trees right now, and these like little seeds are falling off. These would clog up my drain after a certain amount of time, and then if you don't proactively clean them out, and then you do take a wave over the bow, all the water catches in here, overflows into your hatch. So those drains are fantastic.
Do your drains drain straight into your bilge?
Yes.
Okay.
Straight into the bilge.
Okay.
But yeah, and then the other thing that I really do like about this hatch as well is they have this fiberglass plate right here that protects the gas tank from salt spray if salt water gets in there.
Being on salt water, it's eventually always gonna make its way somewhere.
It's always gonna do it. That's
any
just
kind of preventative
protection. My previous boat did not have that, and the hatch was not very dry, and I had to replace my fuel tank after 4 years because it was so corroded.
Thank God they're so cheap.
I know. Yeah. One thing I did want to point out, this is the previous owner's idea, but Maverick, this is not a typical Maverick gas cap. I mean, the cap is the same, but I'm fairly certain, because I've never seen one on a Maverick before, but he added this plastic plate around the gas cap so fly line wouldn't catch on it.
Oh, okay. That's really cool.
I don't know how he got that manufactured, but
He did good.
he did a great job. And the other thing that he did that's slightly different than what I've seen on other Mavericks is generally this jump seat, which doubles as a cooler, usually has little twist-on screws right here, so you can remove it pretty easily. But they kind of stick out, and they're a hazard for fly line. So he also replaced those screw-on.
Sounded like he did a lot of fly fishing.
Twist-on screws. Yeah, I think all he did was fly fishing.
You have forward-facing rod storage and aft.
Forward-facing rod and aft. Yep.
Okay.
One side has 2, 3, 5. One side has 4 forward, the other side has 3, and both of the sides have 1 aft.
It's a lot of rods.
It's a lot of rods, more than I generally carry.
Wide gunnels, which is a huge
Wide
biggie,
gunnels.
especially on these talking skiffs.
Yes.
Not going swimming is a great thing, or falling on an oyster bed. So
Yeah.
wide gunnels are a must on these skiffs. So that's huge.
Yeah, the beam, I don't know the exact number of the beam on this boat, but it is definitely wider than most skiffs I've been on, which is great for when you're fishing with people that aren't always super comfortable on small boats. Having that extra walk around room is really nice.
Yeah, yeah. So your seats.
Yeah, funny. Also, previous owner put these on there. Like I said, he's been fishing in the Everglades for probably close to 30 years. So you have to imagine he's spent a lot of time on a lot of different skiffs. And he told me about 15 years ago, he started putting on these captain's chairs. And no lie, when I looked at the post when this boat came up for sale, I was like, dang it, that thing's got captain's chairs. That's the only thing that's wrong with that boat. And but then after speaking to the previous owner and kind of giving him a hard time, honestly, a little bit about it, he was like, just wait and see. Use them for a couple months, see what you think. I really don't think they're gonna go anywhere. And he wasn't lying. They're amazing. They're not. And honestly, any skiff I have in the future will probably have these on too.
I'm sitting here thinking about them on mine now.
Yeah. Every skiff I've had in the past has always had a bench seat. So it's definitely an interesting change, and it took a little bit of getting used to, but now that I've gotten used to them, it would be hard to switch back to a bench seat, I think.
A backrest.
Backrest is great. I find that on a bench seat on normal skiffs, I never actually use the backrest that much. But with these, they're so close to you that generally you find yourself kind of leaning back in it a little bit.
Yeah. So
yeah.
your compartment for your center console,
yeah,
it's a little bit different than the one that we had done with Capt Ethan's with his HPX-T, because yours has two separate parts.
Right.
2 sections to it instead of a swing door. Do you have your batteries and stuff in your console?
All my batteries are in here.
Okay.
Yep, correct. Your fuse box is in there. I have 2 lithiums for the trolley motor, and then obviously the starter battery, which is one of those Odyssey batteries, which are smaller and lighter as well.
Yeah.
And this has stayed super dry as well. And I mounted the trolley motor charger there on the back wall of it. So it's kind of nice. You can pull this out, so it's easy to kick it in there and work on stuff. Yeah. If you need to. Which is
super important nice. on these tight, small skiffs.
Yes, I mean, they are small, and it is still a very tight space to try and work in, but being able to take this whole door out is super nice. This whole area back here is something that I was super excited about. I have a couple guide friends here in Wilmington that also had this boat, and one of the things I always loved about going out and fishing with them is that this whole area back here is fishable. You can stand back here and fish. You can stand on this step bar and fish. every skiff I've had in the past, really, the seats were about right here.
Yeah.
And so this kind of whole area was unfishable. The drawback to that is you have less fishing space on the bow.
Right.
But for a guide, being able to stand back here and kind of direct people and whatnot is super nice. And then when I'm in the ocean, if it's kind of wavy, a lot of times I'll just stand on this step bar, which is great. And this is also from the previous owner. This is a custom built polling platform. I don't think most of the ones that come from Maverick have this step bar.
It's really convenient.
It's super convenient. You don't have to jump down. It's a lot more safe, if you will, going up and down. And it's out of the way.
That's awesome.
And then these hatches, much like that front hatch, they're all the same. All have these super large gutters, which is, again, super nice for keeping them dry. They have those oversized drains. And then these compartments are just massive, which is so nice for me in guiding, because I don't just do fly fishing charters. I do a lot of light tackle charters. I do some bait fishing charters, and I can literally keep everything that I need in here for all those different types of trips, as well as different species of fish. You know, I can have a fly fishing charter in the morning, and then in the evening could be bait fishing for sharks, or bait fishing for redfish, and being able to have enough tackle boxes in here, one with flies, one with terminal tackle.
Yeah.
Have all your leader, you know.
Guides, trucks, a tackle shop,
yeah,
a baseline, so just
great.
one less thing.
And it's, again, it's so dry that I never have to take everything out, clean it down, which is incredibly nice. And the only other thing I would say about this that is definitely different than what Maverick usually does is these compartments don't have drain holes. And there's a reason that I asked him that, because when I got home, I never realized it when he was showing me the boat or when I picked it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, weird, these things don't have drain holes. Not that they'd be extremely easy to add if you ever wanted to. But his theory is that you eliminate the salt vapor coming up into your compartment and rusting stuff out. Which they're so dry that I haven't had an issue with it like filling with water and having to like vacuum water out of it by any means. But I will say it's either just because this compartment's so airtight, or it's that there's no drain holes in there, that my stuff has not been rusting out.
That's awesome.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah, especially with the price of tackle.
Right, yeah.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
usually like my pliers and whatnot, I'll start showing signs of rust like pretty shortly after buying them.
Yeah.
And I bought a new pair of pliers very shortly after I got this boat, and there's zero rust on them.
That's really interesting. Awesome. So you do have a live well, right?
I do have a live well. It's not plumbed.
Okay.
So there's a live well here.
Okay, that's
not the cleanest thing in the world. But yeah, I have to get it plumbed. It needs the intake, and it needs the drain as well. But everything, because of the way these holes come out of the mold, all that stuff is already, like the little indentation for where you would put the intake is there.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of a plug and play.
It's kind of a plug and play.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then this is the hatch to your bilge.
Okay, and then like rigging and stuff?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
A very common motor that we've been seeing are these super reliable Yamaha 70s. So what's your opinion on them?
I absolutely love them. Coming from a boat that had a Suzuki 60, this motor is so great, especially for skiffs.
Because they're light.
They're light, they're gas efficient, that you get the speed that you need out of them. They're just fantastic motors. They run good shallow. I couldn't imagine a better motor for skiffs in this size.
So with you're running a 3-blade, what pitch is your prop?
This is 13, I believe. Yeah, it's 13. It's a SWW PowerTech prop. So we like to run, pretty shallow around here. And with other props, I've had issues, not on this boat, but on previous boats where if you don't have cupping on your prop, that your prop will cavitate a lot.
Okay.
And so on my previous boat, I had a custom-made prop from a guy in Texas, and the cupping on it is like ridiculous. But you can jack your motor all the way up and trim it up, and it will not cavitate.
Oh, wow.
Which is great for when you're running long distances in shallow water.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what is your draft on this boat, speaking of shallow water?
I'd say roughly around 6 inches, depending on how many people, how much gear, how much gas.
Okay, and that's not bad for what, 17?
17.8.
17.8?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
And it's a 2-degree dead rise, so it's pretty dang flat.
Yeah.
A lot of surface area, if you will, to help it float shallow.
Getting those hard to get places.
That's right.
So one thing that is different from this Maverick compared to the prior HPX-S that we've done is you have a Jackplate. You have an Atlas Micro. So are you using your Jackplate a lot?
All the time. I pretty much, very rarely will I have it less than half of the way up.
Oh, okay. So how do you like the Atlas?
I think it's been great. That's what I had on my previous boat as well. And it worked the entire time I had it, and that was 8 years.
Oh, okay.
So it lasted a long time. So the trim tabs on this boat are Bennett's. Maverick does something interesting where they recess the trim tabs, and where this, I don't know if there's any like scientific reason for that, but where it has come in extremely helpful for me is because my other skiffs in the past, they always stick off the back. I mean, how long are they? 6 to 8 inches.
Oh, yeah.
And in certain times of year when we're fishing those teeny little creeks, you're trying to turn around, and your trim tabs are catching on the mud.
Yep.
And you got to pull out backwards. This boat being slightly shorter and not having the trim tabs extend past the stern is super helpful for that.
Oh yeah, yep. That's the point I've brought up in a few of them, is that little bit of a lip from a trim tab, you don't realize how big it can be until you're trying to turn around in a tight creek.
Yeah, you would never think it would really make that much of a difference.
It's amazing how many creeks are just narrower than your boat plus trim tabs.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I've still pulled out of plenty of creeks backwards in this boat, but there has been some instances where you're like, man, I just cleared that by like 2 inches, 3 inches.
Oh yeah.
And if I had this, the other trim tabs, I wouldn't have made it. So overall, it's been a fantastic boat. It's just extremely durable, which was my number one thing that I really wanted in my next boat. Was I just can't spend a ton of money continuing to fix like structural issues, gel coat issues, and so far so good. I mean, I know Maverick has a great reputation for that.
Yeah.
So hopefully this boat will stand the test of time, and in 15 years I'll just be taking it to get redone.
There's a point. There's a reason why so many guys are running them.
Yeah, no doubt. They're just very reliable machines.
All right, guys, stay tuned. Captain Cam is going to take us on the water, and we're going to do a performance video on just everything this boat can do, and maybe even throw a line in the water.
Sounds good. Do you want to park my car?
Yeah, that's fine.
Are you all right with that?
I mean, typically drive Fords, but this is fine. You need anything out of it?
Nope.
Okay.
So that's all the way jacked up.
That's up on your Jackplate?
I'm fully jacked up right now.
So what are you, like 4 inches total?
Probably 4 to 5 inches. So I have to drive like this up.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah, 100%.
feels like walking on ice.
It does.
The digital display is really nice.
I love that thing. It's all Hell's Base just have the analog, don't they? I mean, there's a reason for that. They don't break as much.
We don't even have fuel gauges.
Yeah, right.
These boats turn so good.
Dude, unbelievable.
Oh, the boat just bites on the turns.
Yeah, it rides on rail really well.
You can see the shoaling that we're going over. I mean, it's floating at nothing.
The tabs take a little bit of practice. I mean, the boat does bow steer a little bit. It took me months to learn how to properly drive this boat. But once you figure it out, it's not bad at all. But it does bow steer a little bit. Usually if there's a group of fish in here, they'll be like along this grass or in this grass pocket back there.
So how deep are you right here?
Probably 12 inches.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because even when you came down, you didn't bump.
Mm-mm.
All right, guys. Again, thanks for tuning in. That's going to be it for Cam's HPX-S. We ran it through the ringers. The thing runs great through all the shallow water. I was complimenting it the entire time we were on plane. It's crazy. You're looking at the oysters, and even when you come down, it still doesn't bump. Floats super skinny, pulls extremely straight. So these are great boats. I definitely see why you run one.
Yeah.
Cam, you want to tell everybody when they're interested in booking you?
Yeah. So you can go to blackbirdguide.com if you're interested in learning a little bit more about my fishing charters. And then Instagram's the same thing. It's Blackbird Guide Services. So
cool.
Come on down to Wilmington.
I appreciate it, man.
You're very welcome.
Yep. Again, if you guys have any questions for Captain Cam about fishing in Wilmington, drop them in the comments below. And if you have any other skiffs you want us to do reviews on, drop them in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in.